Holden, part of our
Holden,
district, is constructing one this year.
That they didn't even open one. What they did was
they're building something new, and they've been talking about showers and things. So they're reconfiguring their fire station, their police station, and all kinds of things. So
I'm sure it's for a shelter or a...
I was listening to them, and they were talking about shelter stuff and bringing in the public and offering handicap showers, and so it'd be worth talking to them.
Okay.
I did talk to Sue over at the town.
Okay.
What they did last year, and I don't know if they're... what they did was they suggested people go to the brewer shelter, and they even offered transportation. And in one case, they had some individual that apparently lived alone and had serious health conditions that would not leave their house. And so the town reportedly dispatched, they have a mobile generator, took it to her house, and for a day ran her house.
Oh, wow.
Sort of, you know,
Nice.
so she had hot water,
Nice.
that sort of thing. Now, I'm not sure what their future plans are. Most of the towns I've talked to that had it have no real plans for the future on it. Now, two towns in particular were quite interesting, but they had shelters warming centers run by the United Way, with under kind of not town auspices, but in cooperation with town. Waterville had it like at some point they had like 35 people using the warming center. They had some businessmen had made available an empty hardware store. A lot of donation kind of thing, but they did have some issues with it. They chosen not to. They did it for 2 years, and they chose not to open it up next year because the need is in a large extent gone away, they think. But the bottom line is, whatever the town chooses to do, I suggest, a legal review, and certainly always have a town official of some sort, deputized or otherwise, present here for if it is open.
That's what I
Someone in charge, essentially, for legal liability reasons, if anything else.
Okay, good. Let me see. Thank you. Oh, signs. That was number 11.
11.
Oh,
sorry.
10. Oh, the final audit. Yeah. They got to stick around. That's number 11 is the signs we talked about.
Where are we getting these numbers?
Our agenda items, it changed a little bit. This was pending stuff that was coming, so it just finally got answers. Infinity Signs, it's Donna Manzo. She owns this business, and she's the one that did our original sign, whatever it is, was behind us.
It's in the closet.
Oh, it is? I think it's in the closet. And we talked about taking that sign and putting it out by the flagpole. And do you guys remember this discussion?
The old town sign.
Yeah.
The big old
City
sign.
repainted.
Yes.
Well, she suggested maybe not repaint it, but clear coat it. Let's keep it original, but this clear coat would protect it and preserve it, because it really isn't that bad. I mean, it just still looks good. And then she put the posts installing the old signs. So let me see, 175 for the clear coat, 180 for the post and installation.
And where has it been built?
We're gonna put it out by the flagpole to keep it here on the property, on the premises. We don't want to put it anywhere else.
These two other ones got stolen.
They get stolen.
This was just discussion when we
Historical thing, we
Yeah.
wanted to keep,
we didn't know if it was historical society or town. We figured out the town did it back in 2000 and something.
Judy Bragg was in, and finally, I think, she said, your grandmother purchased or something. It somehow went back.
Town purchased, I think.
The town purchased
They were
it.
town purchased. Yeah.
So,
The historical society didn't want it?
no.
No.
Judy said she would be thrilled, they would be thrilled to see it on our lot here and preserved, so.
The other one disappeared, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
gone.
two of them are stolen.
And this is a Donna that did them
Did the
originally?
painting, yes. She has her businesses in Augusta. You can go on her website, she does incredible work. It's really nice.
She would be able to replicate so we could put new signs out?
I have another quote for that, on the town signs.
Okay.
I told them to break it down.
That's my question.
For 3 new signs, town signs, installed and painted, posted $1,700. So, and that's installed.
And
Dude,
what
lucky it's not just for one.
is the likelihood they're gonna get stolen
Okay.
again?
You can't-
Are they better, bigger, heavier? I would grounded in any better
There's
way.
one small signs that they.
Well, no, I know, I
These
know.
are gonna be 3 feet by 8 feet, these signs.
We can't do something like Eddington did right up here, just the little one?
They have to repair already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was there a long
big hole in
time before it had to be repaired.
It wasn't there a long time.
It's been there 5 or 6 years.
No.
The one that just got broke?
No.
No, that was just put out.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
one missing and then that
Not
one.
according to Shauna.
No, not even.
I don't know, the one right up here was
Yeah,
just put out this last fall.
Yeah.
And then the
Snowplow.
snowplow put a rock through.
Yeah. So these are gonna be like the same signs you probably see entering and leaving a lot of the other towns.
Well,
I think that's something we should put on.
It should be a budget item.
Right.
Right.
the sign that's in there where it was put, it didn't, nobody fooled around. I mean, nobody hit it.
No?
Down the other one, I don't understand why they stole the one down the other one, because that was way out of the way.
I know.
I was
don't know
running
how
up
we
the
got
state
it.
took it down. You know?
I don't know.
They don't like it when I put one of the J-Crack signs up on their road, they get mad.
So, to preserve the old one, historical one,
Hey, while we're on signs,
300,
have you done any more about the speed signs?
yes. I have an email from Andrew Allen, and they're still working on it. He was embarrassed that it's been almost a year, but we're trying, almost a year, he's embarrassed. No, it isn't.
Hey, it's hard work.
We thought it was 2 years.
No.
Yes or no?
I just got an email.
gonna do anything on this?
We could take this out of our road, or something, we can find it at building, $355.
Why can't we clear code it
Okay.
ourselves? Why can't we clear code it ourselves?
You asked me to get quotes, and
No,
I
I know.
can. You can.
I hadn't thought of preserving that one.
Yeah, I know, we hadn't either.
The whole point was to replace the
Right,
sign that's
yeah,
the road, right?
yeah.
We got a little off track of
Yeah,
that,
But we did want to save this sign.
yeah,
We talked about putting it here.
yeah.
we could put it up on a wall
Mount it up
inside,
on the
not
wall
even
up
have to
there.
clear code.
Huh?
Mount it up there.
Do you know how heavy that friggin'
Yeah,
thing is? I don't think so. It's huge. I mean, we were talking about even hanging it off the siding out here, and I think it would be 3 men and a small army to do it. And when I talked to Judy about it, Judy felt that it's something that should be at least preserved and put outside so people can see it. And if we can clear coat it or do something with it, I think we could.
No, if you get it, it can be cleared if you clean it down, get any imperfections out of it,
I mean, she would
so
do all
it'll
that.
stick.
I mean, she knows about signs, what it needs, and.
Everything can go in the clear coat.
Jess was trying to say something.
I'm sorry, Jess.
Even if she clear coats it, it's still gonna need to be maintained.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
If it's inside, it won't. It just get dusted off every once in a while.
yeah. What are your thoughts on clear coat? What's clear coat, like varnish or?
Like
I'm sure she would use a UV resistant.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's
Yeah.
something special.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
She would use a sign UV resistant
not like
clear
I
coat.
go out polyurethane.
Right.
All the cars are done with base coat,
Yeah.
red, and they clear, and that's how you
Yeah.
shine. Stinks,
She was thrilled that we contacted her.
Yeah.
She's originally from
Yeah.
Yeah.
The family, and so.
no, table it, let's think about it.
Is that your motion?
Yep.
Well, just remember, winter's coming, so
I don't know.
post in the ground.
Sooner than
Where is
later.
the sign now?
It's
in here.
Yes.
It's in your car.
How did you get it back up here, Jess?
It's not that heavy.
It's not that
I lugged it in myself.
Yeah, you did.
It's just plywood, right?
It's just plywood.
It's just a piece of plywood. It would look good mounted right up there.
I agree, I think we should put it on the wall inside.
Right up there, beautiful
What
spot.
is
The-
it?
One or the other.
The brackets that were custom made for when I was going to repaint it when I thought I had time, would be perfect for hanging it.
Yeah.
It would be
That'd
fine.
be cool.
Just the way it is?
Just the way it is.
Without a clear coat?
No, you wouldn't need a clear coat in
For
here.
a year, yeah.
Which is what I had talked to Judy about, but if she doesn't want it over at the Historical Society, then hang it up here.
Okay, all right.
Which,
Do you think it would fit up there?
on the other side of the project,
I think that's a good idea.
work with this.
That'll be,
I've been asking the Historical Society, and we've been putting in a newsletter to collect old photos of businesses in the past, so, which I thought I'd use a wall in there, just for the pictures and stuff, and a description of what might be going on with that.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion, we put that sign up there.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
And then our second motion will be on the signs for the town, for the roads, to table it and talk about it at budget time and maybe put it, okay?
No, the roads aren't.
And I think also to get some other quotes for roadside signs too.
Yeah.
Jess?
Did she also send a JPEG picture of what she was going to propose?
No, she
No.
didn't, because
That would definitely be something you would ask for.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
this was, I mean, I asked her about, since the last meeting, but I had to remind her a couple times, she
Yeah.
was so busy, and
The
today was the day.
first time we put that sign up out there was ungodly price.
The 17, what was it, 1,700 for 3 signs?
1700, yeah.
Is not gonna be what those were.
Oh, no.
No.
No. No.
She kind of described them as the other towns that have the entrance leaving, they're not
Yeah.
big, but, well,
3 by 8, yeah.
similar, with no pictures.
It'd be very plain.
Yeah, yeah. So we're gonna table
So
that.
we don't have a.
Oh, did we?
13?
I don't know.
38 or 9.
I don't think so.
Okay,
Who motioned?
Ed did,
I did, and who
or you,
seconded?
yeah.
I motion.
Julie did.
Okay, what's this general assistance discussion on vouchers?
I'm talking to Gina Friday Gray Cause, and to see if he would accept our voucher, to shop in his store. In cases that they need some food, Tradewinds is just not the store for that.
Yeah,
And so he hasn't gotten back with me yet, so
okay,
I can't imagine it's gonna be a big issue, but,
What'd you say, Gina?
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I just had a thought after we discussed that. You had said something about those vouchers were actually not for food. Right, they're not, they're for,
In some
other stuff.
cases, like this one.
so, yeah,
So it's not gonna happen a lot, unless it's,
but someone had to like approve him purchasing food with them.
and like I said, we're working on other things with them too.
Yeah.
What are they gonna purchase, half a gallon?
No. What do you mean half gallon? Alcohol? Oh,
It says purchases, vouchers.
well, right, but it's been non-perishables, is what we usually give the voucher for, and they go to Tradewinds, which they can get everything they need there for that stuff. But we had a case that they needed
That's
food,
wasting
and
money.
they've gone to the shelters, and I do need to talk to our shelter here, because they turned them away, and said they only are open once a month,
Yeah,
but
that wasn't the way that was set up. You mean up the truck.
I know, but rules made them do it this way. They have to follow that rule. Because they were too generous. People were coming whenever they wanted to, and they can't do that.
So you only get hungry when this,
Well, I know.
anything
that-
state, federal government mixed up and things about it.
Well, they run out of food eventually if they left it open.
Okay,
So anyways, that's what I'm working on for that.
okay. Are you gonna do the clerk's report, if she's not here? Or do we read
You
for
can
whatever?
read it, yeah.
Dick and Betsy Ware gave the town a new eagle for our flagpole. The old one had a broken wing, so they replaced that.
Did we send them a thank you?
I don't think we should.
Make a motion, we send them a thank you.
Yes, I'll second that. All those in favor? Okay. Discussion on date change for the annual town meeting.
This is something that we talked about
We
before.
have 2 food banks
Stephanie and I talked about it quite a bit last week.
and SNAP programs.
Maybe move it
Those
1
persons
month
still can't
and
find food in this
give
town.
us that extra leeway to
Oh,
work with the
really?
auditors
What
like
is
that
that?
month of February only.
Because you
Try
have a
to
really
prepare
good
for everything.
family.
Is that something in town that people has to approve?
Yes.
As I say, I don't think we can change the date.
No,
We have to get on
It's
November.
We have to
ballot.
Our next meeting will have to be the same as it is now, unless it
No, to put this on the
unless we
November
do it on
ballot.
a ballot beforehand.
We
Which we could do because there'll be a November one.
Right.
I truly failed to, I'm gonna just put this out here because I had a discussion with Jerry, the auditor, who said that as of 2009, we got a printed report in our annual reports every year. We've not gotten one since then. There's no reason that we can't, it's just we need to have things ready, and it means concentrated effort with Jerry and Deb to get things in the book. I fail to see why we need to move our meeting when we've had it 900 years in March.
Yeah.
I think we need to at least try to see if that can come forth and get it back to what it was prior to then.
Well, I think I've been here since, what, 2006? Things have changed in this town office
Who's the
since
annual
2009.
meeting?
We've become busier. A lot of other things
Is
have
that
happened, you know,
about
that's
people
required
who
more
season
public
have a
hearings
say
and,
or
you
all
know,
the residents?
so it takes a lot of extra time to prepare for those things, so.
But from February to March, my own personal opinion would be that your focus would be just on getting that stuff.
And that's what I
done.
said, it would have to
Lock
be
us up in the
that.
office.
What's that?
Lock us up in the office.
Easier said than done.
My shades is that way. No, we don't.
Well, and part of Jerry's comment also was, and she said I will be very
Might wanna have a
truthful,
second.
that she deals with a lot of other towns that she does auditing for. And she said, I'll tell you truthfully, if the squeaky wheel doesn't squeak loud, then I postpone. So, you know, we've said how many years, where's the report, but it's not been insistent that we work to do that. So I think we should at least try that to see if we can accomplish that goal as opposed to changing things and postponing or backing down a month to see what we could do. Just my thought.
Also getting it laid out for Jerry, is that a female?
Yes,
or male?
yes,
Female,
it's
okay.
female, yeah.
If you could have that commitment letter to her at a certain date
Yeah.
and let her know what our expectation
Yeah.
is. That way she knows that we're gonna be squeaking.
Yeah.
We need
And
that.
she's never had that.
Yes.
Okay, that's something that maybe we don't try.
She's been apprised of it because I told her that's what we were expecting to have happen. And asked her also, I mean, she did say that in 2010, a lot of the auditing challenges changed, they got more complicated. She said I could give you all financial commitment letters or financial paperwork to look at, but you wouldn't understand it, which I said absolutely we would not, to fill out. The other part of it is, can we do something to facilitate the end of year reports, whatever needs to be balanced. I mean, those are things that I'm still looking to see if there's something we can do to make that happen a little bit
We
better.
should be able to put in at least the minimum.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And there is a minimum what needs to be in that report, so.
Yep. Yep.
And I think too, we report everything, we have a report from every committee, and that takes a lot of time and effort from us in the office to retype them, so they all the font matches throughout the book. We're a little picky sometimes that way, but our books look nice, so it takes a lot of work. I know, I was noticing the Holbrook Rec, I mean, they're a small entity. Their year ended in March, they just got their report July 17th. So, I mean, that's 4 months, an audit report just for a small entity like that. So, I mean,
I do report to Conservation Club and it's 4 or 5 months before we get them.
it's not unusual.
But it was something that always happened.
Right,
And I think,
And it has
the
to.
townspeople should have that report ready to come to that meeting.
I agree.
So either move the meeting or make sure we get
Right.
it done.
yeah.
We'll change the fiscal year.
Well, that would be more complicated, wouldn't
Right.
it?
Yes.
Changing the meeting date would be the easiest.
No, I think that's gonna disrupt people more than changing your
Oh,
fiscal
would you
year.
like to see my bill from Eddington, 17 months worth?
Well, that's.
Yeah, but that's a one-time
I
thing.
know, but that's
And
kind
I
of
talked to
really not
Russell,
So-
because we're in the not midst, but talking
Yeah.
stage of doing it
It's a
down
lot.
where I work.
You can do it a couple of different ways. You can do one commitment with a year's bill with 2 payments, you can do another 6-month commitment and have it due after that. And he said going back, he wouldn't have done it the way that he did it. He would have gone and taken out a loan to cover those years and spread the payments out further for people, but
I don't want that much disruption. I just want to get that report.
I thought
in the report.
Stephanie and I, to me, if we had to, moving the meeting date, nobody's gonna care from March to April, honestly. Probably we would get, because the Conservation Club has usually your big function that same weekend, seems so. So, not that I'm saying we lose spectators, but.
I was talking this over with my cousin who is a CPA and a selectman, so we had both views, and I wish I could remember, it's been a while since I talked to him, he said, well, what date is in your letter, or that your agreement letter with the auditor, that you have, that the audit will be delivered on that
The
day.
commitment letter. Yeah,
And that's
that's
what he
what I
was asking, you know, are they missing that date?
Right.
I don't believe there was ever a letter from Clifton, so.
Yeah,
that's
and
something
maybe-
we can do.
engagement letter is what it is.
Engagement. An
Yeah.
engagement letter.
And that was signed, you guys signed.
You know, that's
After
what,
the audit though, right?
Yeah. Should have been done before.
Right, that's what I thought, because we do the same thing
Yeah.
in my work, and that's something we sign
Right.
before the audit.
and maybe in order, if you had, I don't know everything that treasurer and you guys have to get ready, but if you had somebody, maybe a part-time help in January to come in and help in the office to get some of those things ready.
Yeah.
Well, our
You
year
know,
ends
just
January
Putting
31st.
the town report together, like she was saying, there were different reports. If you just had, so she can concentrate on the financial
Absolutely.
stuff and not be worrying about who's turned in their annual report for their committee and those kind of things. You know, something like that. But it sounded to him it was, the important thing was the engagement letter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
I'm glad you talked with her.
Yeah.
And that,
Yeah.
you know, that's
Yeah.
just, let's give it another try.
Yeah.
See if we can get it done.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, discussion regarding Clifton's comprehensive plan.
Yes, the planning board met last Wednesday, and because they didn't have anything on the agenda, I thought maybe I'd offer if they start working on the comprehensive plan. So Eric took it under, and he said fine. But I was talking to Stephanie too, because she's dealt with this before, and we do have a nice plan right now. Eric, you know how Eric is really good about organizing and trying to get everything. He wanted committees and subcommittees and this and that. And I'm thinking, oh boys, I started something, but I think all this needs to be just kind of beefed up a little bit and looked at and see, and I'll let Stephanie take over because she has worked on this before. And
I have, and I don't really see the need to do anything to it.
Yeah.
I mean, until the state starts squawking, why would we?
No
I don't know why
problem.
Eric wants to go into 2 more years of.
well, I started it.
Don't bring it
Done.
Right, but the state is also, the agencies that oversee it aren't even there anymore. It's not as much of it's not even mandatory.
So we don't rely
Towns don't
on
even
that.
have to have one.
Right.
That's true.
So
I
Is
know
it something
that's
that
why
you
we
just
do it.
say, it looks good for another 10 years?
Right.
Well,
and we don't
I wouldn't
have
even say
to.
that, I'd just leave it alone until there's a need to change it. I wouldn't even touch it.
Somebody comes in and says, you don't qualify for this because you don't have a current comprehensive
Well,
plan.
there is nothing to
Go
do
for
with
it.
Has
Right.
been using forever, but there it is.
I have a little different perspective on it. The way the planning board was talking last week, Eric especially was interested in the strategic plan.
Right.
What was of interest to me on working on it for 8 years was the inventory and just getting all the data together so that you had facts. So when you did want to make a decision, you actually had some concrete information available to you. And that's what I liked about doing the plan. And there's hard data and the census data is not accurate data, but there are a lot of sources in the town that are hard data, how many kids go to school, what the school enrollments are.
I mean, if we could
The
update.
tax data, that's hard data, you know, those kind of things, and pulling that together. I kept a folder of all the graphs from that, and I'd love to see them updated over the last 10 years so that you can see what the trends are. And Cindy's concerned about the fund balance, and that's one of the things that was done in the comprehensive plan. You look at that, and there's a supposed percentage that's a good balance, a good amount to keep on hand. If you lower than that, you know, you're not as good a financial shape as you should be, and things like that. That's what I'd like to see done as far as the strategic planning. You know, it's nice to envision a lot of stuff, but most of us know all we can do just to deal with what's going on today.
Well, it's like I said, the land use ordinance kind of defines the whole town, what we can and can't do, and, you know, and the town is, I don't think has room to grow much more anyways. There's not a lot of land out there for any big businesses. We have a lot, the industrial site, but as far as anything else, you know, it's all taken up the land. And those big landowners have not even had any interest in selling, so.
It's a great document, like Paula said, to show the statistics of the town. I think that's all really interesting information, but there's absolutely nothing binding in it, and it's just a plan to waste money updating the plan. I mean, it'd be one thing to maybe update the data and have it as a separate report or something, you know.
And add it, that's it.
That's just my thought. I don't know.
We do have like a reserve monies, like I think it's 3,000 something in reserve, but still,
Put it towards the fund balance.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
need it.
I mean, I don't know why we would waste money on that.
Fred, tell us what your
We
opinion
keep raising it every year.
Do you have an opinion, Fred?
Yeah, I think it's worth having a committee set up so to get input from the town, some kind of vision and just where the town wants to go. And it's in the plan, it actually says that we should review it every 10 years.
Because that's what the state required of us. They had their little
But
carrot.
is it what the town accepted when they accepted the plan?
The town voted that it be required every 10 years. It's in the plan, so
Right.
it's irresponsible what the state has.
I know. I helped write one, and it was completely facilitated by a state agency. They came in, we paid them $20,000 to tell us what we should write. And so, yeah, they say every 10 years you should update
That's the way they
that.
tried it, but they didn't, but the town augmented it, okay? It didn't go by the state plan. It did what the town wanted to do.
Right, well, that's what we ended up doing in Carmel, too.
And I think that should be what it is now. I think should get some people that are interested in it and just work on it.
Is this committee going to be paid?
At least-
That would be $3,000.
No.
At least it gets the town input and gets some more people interested in
I know.
town affairs.
The planning board, the 5 of them, they were gonna be part of it, right, Dave?
Yeah.
And then maybe one select board member, and maybe some residents. Volunteers.
There has to be.
Yeah, I think there needs to
Outside,
be.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
agree, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's where they were heading, I think it's just thoughts. Yeah.
I have an idea. Maybe you could have Eric come in and explain his thoughts on why he wants to go through it.
Yeah, well, I think it's because the 10 years is almost
10
up.
years,
It's been
yeah.
8 years, right? And he thinks it'll take 2 years to rewrite it.
Yeah.
I think he's just foreseeing that timetable, but.
Yeah, I was
But he may
glancing
have
at
ideas as to that it needs work, and we don't know because he's not here.
Right.
Yeah.
So give him the opportunity to speak.
Yeah.
Jess?
Well, Fred was maybe trying to say it was strategic plan?
Pardon?
Was you talking more of a strategic plan about how the town wants to go into the future with? I think which is different than strategic plan,
Yeah.
which I think is different than rewriting a comprehensive plan.
Well, no, actually, the comprehensive plan comes together at the end with a strategic plan for the next 10 years.
That states what they expect or would like to see town be at the end of the 10 years.
So how about rewrite that last little portion? Not the whole thing.
And or update the population, whatever.
Well, I think we still need to.
It's just, they just talked about it last week.
Right, and perhaps talk with Eric to see what his thoughts are, and if it's gonna be to develop a committee to put it out, even just to say, this is what we've got, and let's add this or not.
I believe what he was asking for is if you get volunteers, see who people, how many people are interested in coming, and just get a feel of how the town wants to contribute. Okay, how many people that are seriously interested in working on a committee? Not having just people float around.
Yeah, right.
Just get the feelers out and see how many people would be responsible.
Because there are 10 or 12 areas, like some people might be interested in the economics, some people in the transportation, some
that's
in
what
the
you were
education.
saying.
What I did was public facilities and fiscal capacity was what I was most interested in. Fred did transportation, and none of us really wanted to do land use.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
Okay.
One of the things they were talking about at the planning board is what are we going to be doing about our schools too in the future, and we are reconfiguring. And to be honest, they're starting to talk about much closer than 15 years out to rebuild, maybe build a school for all 3 communities. So maybe it is time that we start thinking about what the communities want to do with the future and get some input on that.
So, what's your pleasure? Do we need to make a motion to this, or?
I guess,
Right.
I mean, we have a newsletter, but there's, what, maybe 100 people on that right now, I think?
I make a motion that we send out a newsletter telling people that the planning board is looking at the comprehensive plan and requesting
volunteers
to be on committees.
Okay. Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Okay.
While we're talking about newsletters and stuff, I've talked to our network people that we bought all our, Jeremy, what had happened, they had moved their office, they're in Waterville, so that's why there's been a lack of communication there. So within the next few days, he's gonna contact me how I can manipulate what website we have so we can start creating a bigger and better website. So he hadn't forgot about us, it's just,
Okay.
so that would be awesome if we did that right now.
Okay. All right. Do you have anything else here, Carla?
God, we could go on all night.
I know.
Wait a second. Yes, Bill's here.
Just for me, I had given Deb a couple of things. In your packets, you're going to see Kathy she and I went to that Freedom of Access class in Pittsfield, and she put together some documents. I think she sent them around. I don't know if she sent them to all of the members, but I had her copy them and we put them in just to go home and look over, see if there's any errors or omissions or something you'd like added. And when we do get together for a policy review, then that will be one of the things we'll look at and decide on, but it's there. I didn't forget about our having some type of gathering for the summer, but I did talk to Judy Bragg, who is she president of the Historical Society or something. So they just had an open house. September, I think they're doing something, I don't know if they're going to be involved, I think with the sawmills. What's going on up there?
Just some kind of lumber.
The golf tournament or something. So she and I talked on the phone for quite a bit, and we talked about having something, and I told her my wish to have it in the field behind the Historical Society, kind of table it with something that would be with that. So we both made a decision that when they start to look at the calendar for next year, which is what they're going to do shortly from the historical point of view, that we sit down and talk about when a time frame would be, set a date, and then establish some folks that will work on it and see how big we want to make it or don't or whatever. So that was a decision that we made from that. What else? Do you have anything else on that list I gave you? I think we did it all. We had on our agenda, it was in regards from, that we tabled from last meeting, was a letter from Eric Stumfeld. There is a new letter in your packets that speaks to that, so read that. That's all I'm going to say about that part of it. The other thing that I wanted to bring up, and I'm really not sure where to go with this, We had a gentleman who came in to pay his taxes because the letterhead on his bill was wrong. It was a clerical error. He got quite distressed and stormed out. And I got a call from Deb, and I called and talked to him, and he proceeded to be quite rude and nasty. So the thoughts of it were that he was going to contact his lawyer. This was on a recently piece of property that was sold. So I just didn't know where to go or what to do with it, because I'm not sure if he's going to pay the taxes, which I would have thought would have been contingent on the sale of his property. I did talk to Mark. Mark researched and went back through things, and he did find that the name change, which was one of the issues that he was quite upset about, that he said started back in 2005, that he told the girls in the office to change. But there was no record from Registry of Deeds to change that. That arrived September 13th of last year, which was after our 13 taxes were out and committed. So Mark had that paper, and then he put in the wrong name on the head of it. So I talked to this gentleman. Well, I left a message on his phone. He didn't pick up and he didn't talk, but told him what had happened, and said from per Mark that he, and a law that he also sent me on email, that he is still responsible for those taxes. So it's left at that. I just wanted you to know what I had been involved in, so that we'll see what happens from there. The only other thing that I want to see if we could do is set a date to work on policies. That's separate from meeting time and not summer, so that we could just set a particular time and have a couple-hour workshop and do it, instead of trying to tag it on a lengthy meeting that's almost 2 hours long. So I'm open for dates, suggestions. Julie's not here, but yeah. I mean, I'm pretty free other than September. I thought when you get kids in school or whatever. So kind of, I don't know what days are best or better or whatever, but let's think about it. Maybe come up with something the first part of September or second week in September, maybe. Yep.
We have our next meeting for maybe the second week in October.
Okay. Well, I just don't want to get close to budget stuff, so we'll make it.
That's all cool to think about.
I know it is. I'm worried we're doing stuff this year. We're getting it done. So think about something, throw out some dates for the first or second week in September, prior to our meeting. And maybe email them to me. I don't know, you have Wednesday nights. I don't know what you have. You can call me.
I don't have many
You don't have
nights.
email, you can call me.
Whole month of September.
Huh?
I don't have many nights, the whole month of September.
That is open,
Monday and Tuesdays.
that you could be available? Okay, all right. So we'll start there. And then I'll spit some dates.
As long as it doesn't get down to the end of September, because I'm done.
I know, that's why I'm hurrying. That's why I'm hurrying. Okay, all right.
That's why I said the second week in October, because you'll be back by then.
Yeah.
Maybe.
All right. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Okay. Time for public access. Anybody want to speak?
They're all
I
ready for bed.
I think everybody knows that I'm running as a clean election candidate, and that money comes from the taxpayers, and I want to use the money for more than just advertising myself. But the law says I can only use the money for campaign purposes. So one of the things I would like to do is to be able to put money back into the community instead of just paying for TV ads and sending it to Rupert Murdoch or whoever. So I'd like to do some town halls for the public. But I think it's very important for the different town select boards and councilmen and planning boards and school boards to get a chance to meet each other and just socialize. So I'm hoping that in September and October I'll be able to have public town halls, come and meet and greet the candidate, mostly not so I can yell at people about what I think should be going on, but to listen to what people want and feel they need in Augusta. But for us to be able to get together and have the expertise, I keep hearing people like, we're putting bids out and I don't know anything about this company, and what are the standards for the roads, and what do we have for this? And we've got expertise in gazillion years in all these different towns that aren't sharing what we know about our neighbors and the companies and the challenges that we're all sharing. So I just kind of like to give you a heads up that I'm going to try to do something to get the select boards, the councilmen, planning boards, and school boards to just have a meet and greet, a dinner, and some kind of a social to meet the candidate. But the money should go back into the community, and whatever food is bought is local. And so I think it would be good to be able to network with the other people and find out what they know and how they're doing stuff.
Yep.
So there you go.
I agree. Thank you.
Get the bang for the buck.
Yes.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
I would like to know if there were any town employees at the January meeting at the Clifton Church, or any other meetings at Fuller, or someone connected to Pisgah attended. I know that there were other meetings. When and where were they held? Was Bill Rand or any town official or employee at any of these other meetings that were attended by Fuller or someone connected to Pisgah? If the meeting at the Clifton Church was for Clifton businesses, why was there no public notification or invitation sent to other business owners in town? And why was this public meeting not held at the town office?
Okay.
That's a long list.
And how do you expect us to give you answers to that when we had nothing to do with it? And we weren't there at any of the meetings, so we don't know who was there.
Just putting it out there. Putting it out there.
Matter of record.
I would think your questions would be better sent to whoever organized the meetings and that were involved and who was there.
And Julie Cooley stated that at one meeting, Sean Cooley started those.
Well, I think, yeah, Sean was
Stated it more than once.
right.
I mean, it had nothing to do with
Yeah.
us. We had nothing to do with those meetings.
But there was town officials there.
The January one, I said
Jellison
I was there.
And
correct.
Jellison was there.
And I explained that I was there just because I wanted to figure out what businesses were in the town, and that's what it was billed as. And I spoke at the time on the state of revenue sharing and what was pertinent to the town as far as what we're looking at for income. That was my part.
But isn't it the board's job to pay attention to what Bill Rand was doing as well?
No.
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 What's this all about?
I mean, how would we know? I mean, we don't even
Is
know
that-
what the rest of
is
the
this
are
about
doing,
that
and
meeting?
where we're going to meetings. How would we know it?
Is this about that meeting in the church that I and Sean put together? This was something that they, like a chamber of commerce. We were trying to get the business people together. And you guys are doing what? You're accusing us of being clandestine now, or what? And accusing the town people of being involved in a clandestine meeting? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying anything,
Well,
Frank.
you said it right there, and your darn advertisements in your brochures did the same thing. I'm looking for an apology. You guys need you apologize that what you're accusing me of lying.
I'd like to have somebody apologize for the stuff they put on Cooked and Blaze. I'd like somebody to apologize for calling my husband here tonight.
No, wait a minute, you're making the accusation there, and you're
Excuse me.
accusing.
Can we
No more
just,
discussion, please.
I think this is not the format for this.
Well, she started it,
I think the
and I'm
part,
being accused of doing something clandestine and holding a meeting that's out of order. Is that what's saying?
I'm not sure what Jess's questions are, if they're clandestine or not. I mean, we had the same question at the last meeting by Peter Radford and the meeting before that, so.
He had asked about town officials. I was asking about town employees.